Hey guys, Ben with Oddly Armed here again, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Sig Sauer SG553 once again, but we're really going to be tearing it down, field stripping it, taking a look at the internal components and a little bit of how it works. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. All right, let's get things started. So let's go ahead and pop out our magazine first of all, and then in the receiver you can see at the front and the back we have two separate receiver pins. So these have a button in the middle which locks it in there, so you have to press in that button while also pressing out from the other side, and then these pins will come out. So if you can kind of take a look there, there's two little legs. Here, I'll set this down real quick on either side of that, and when you press that pin, it retracts those and lets you pull it out of the receiver. So let's go ahead, pull both of those out. You don't necessarily need to do that to field strip this, but I'm gonna do that anyways just to make it a little bit easier to deal with. And at this point, the upper and lower receiver will separate. Real quickly, I wanted to take a look at the magazines for the SG553. So these are the 30 round variants. They also make 20 rounders, which are generally what's issued with the SIG 550. But you can see they've got these knobs and these little cups on it, which allows you to lock two magazines together. I've actually used this for competitions before, and it can be very handy. These are really nice translucent magazines, which are extremely difficult to find. And yeah, you're probably going to be waiting a little bit while for you to get extra magazines for these things because they just don't pop up that frequently. Looking at the lower receiver, there's not a ton to see here. So you can see it's just stamped steel, very, very nice quality, well made. You can get a good look at there inside the trigger group and our ambidextrous safety selector, as well as the bolt catch there. Everything's extremely well made, well put together, and well fit. But yep, just give you a quick look at that and see how that all goes together. The next step in the disassembly process is going to be removing the bolt carrier group. So we start by grabbing our charging handle here, and there's a little lever that we have to depress, at which point the charging handle will pop right out. So this actually connects the bolt carrier group to the piston assembly, which has your recoil spring wrapped around it. So at this point, we can just pick it up, and the bolt carrier group will drop out the back. So I'll give you a good look at that here. And if we pop out, we can see the bolt just comes out just like an AK. So pretty simple, nothing too crazy there. Looking back at the upper, the next step is going to be removing our handguard assembly. So first thing we need to do here is press backward on the lower half of the handguard, and that'll go ahead and pop straight off the bottom, at which point we can take off the top handguard, which just pops straight off the top. Looking at these, one interesting thing about the handguards is they only produce one length of handguard, which is a full-length SG550 handguard, and they actually cut it down to fit the 551 and the 553 series. So a little bit interesting there, but pretty good quality handguard for what it is. Next up is taking out our gas system. So this starts, we have our gas plug up here and a little detent. So we press that in, and our gas plug will rotate until we get the keyways in the right position there, and it'll go ahead and pop straight out of the front. You can see mine's got 4 positions on it. It's got off 0.9, which is the suppressor setting, 1.2 and 1.3, and I believe that's millimeters, but not entirely sure. So I'll go ahead and set that aside, and from there we can just tilt it forward, give it a little tap, and out will come our piston assembly. So you can see this is the gas piston as well as the recoil spring, which is wrapped around it. Coming back to the receiver, our gas tube we can actually remove. I'm not going to be taking it off here just because the flash hider I have on here actually blocks it coming off. But you just press in the detent, and then you rotate the entire gas cylinder, and it'll come out the front as well. But it's not necessary on every single field stripping. But let's go ahead and give you just a quick look inside the upper now that we have it fully disassembled here. And then you got all of your phone receiver markings, and in there you can see it's actually fairly open and easy to get to stuff in there, and pretty easy to clean too. So good receiver design and extremely well made. So I went ahead and reattached our piston and recoil spring assembly back to our bolt carrier group so we can compare it to another bolt carrier group from a related rifle. This one happens to be from my PSA crank off, so a AK series rifle, and this one actually has a very similar, pretty much the exact same 8.9 inch barrel length, so good comparison there. So you can see they're both short stroke gas piston rifles. When this is connected to the bolt carrier group, they move together just like it does on the AK. And if we pop out the bolts, there we go. I have to remember how to actually take apart an AK here, so let's go ahead and pop it out. And then we'll take a look at the front here so you can see our extractor as well as the bolt lugs there. So everything is the same shape and they work essentially the same way. We have the 553 on the right and the Krinkov on the left. Biggest difference here is on the bolt stem. Our little cam protrusion there is its own separate thing on the SG553 versus on the AK. It's actually built into the bolt head, but other than that, they work essentially the same way. So it's and finally, here we have the SG553 fully field stripped. Just want to thank you guys for viewing this video and taking a look at this SG553 and how it comes apart and how it works. Hopefully we'll get some more videos out there for you as we move on into the future. So thank you for tuning in. Like, share, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and I appreciate all the support.